All right, everybody, we're ready to learn about our next planet in the solar system. We have our mat representing outer space, cold and dark, but it's not because we have our sun. That's right, and it's at the center of our solar system. Since our mat's not that big, I'm going to scoot our sun over a little bit so we can get our planets out here in order. And who remembers the first planet, the planet closest to the sun? It is a rocky planet. It's Mercury. What comes next? It has thick clouds and hides what is below. Sulfuric acid in the atmosphere. That's right, it's Venus. So we've got Mercury, Venus, then what comes next? It's our home. That's right, it's Earth. And what rotates around the Earth? The moon. And it rotates all the way around the Earth. I may make a separate moon video and tell us a little bit more about the moon, but what is the next planet after Mercury, Venus, Earth? You've got it, Mars. Next comes Mars. And just as the Earth is called the blue planet, Mars, what do you think it's called? The red planet. That is correct because of its red soil. So let's talk a little bit about Mars. First of all, Mars is still considered an inner planet because it is closer to the sun. It's the fourth planet from the sun. And we're going to find out that next comes an asteroid belt. And then come the giant gas planets. So Mars is considered an inner planet. It has a red sky and dust storms that sometimes cover the entire planet. There are polar ice caps. There are volcanoes. There are canyons. And there are 4 seasons on Mars. Wow. So it, just like the Earth, is slightly tilted on its axis so that as it goes around the sun, some parts are closer to the sun and some parts are angled farther away from the sun so that it creates the seasons. Wow, that's pretty incredible. Here's a far out fact. Mars's largest volcano, Olympus Mons, is 3 times taller than our largest mountain, Mount Everest. Oh my goodness. It has a huge volcano on it that has erupted in the past. It has not erupted in the future or the present that we have been able to see with the telescope. It is erupted only in the past, or that we have been able to see with our Mars rovers, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But remember the diameter, that's the distance across Mars. If we could cut it in half and measure directly across down the center, is 6,794 kilometers or 4,222 miles. So what is that comparing to? What is it compared to Earth? Ooh, it's a lot smaller than Earth, isn't it? It would take about 2 of Mars to fit into Earth. And remember, Venus is almost the same size of Earth, so definitely 2 of Mars, and it is larger than Mercury for sure. Okay, let's keep looking. The distance from the sun is 228 million kilometers or 142 million miles. Wow. We still cannot imagine that. And we're getting farther away from the sun as we go. And it shows you here the 4th planet from the sun. Let's take a look. 1 day on Mars is 24 hours. What does that remind you of? 1 day on Mars is 24 hours. Doesn't that remind you of Earth? How long does it take the Earth to rotate on its axis one time? 24 hours. So it's the same for Mars. It takes 24 hours for it to turn on its axis one time. So it has the day and the night every 24 hours. Wow, that is very similar to Earth. In fact, it's the exact same. All right. It has 2 moons, and we're going to find out the name of those in just a minute. Does it look like it has any rings? Nope. Mars has no rings. None of the inner planets have any rings. All right, let's put this fact card over and find out what our other information could be. So we know, let's make sure that's in focus for you. Mars is the second smallest planet in our solar system. So if you take a look, what is the smallest planet then? It's not Mars, it's Mercury. That's correct. Mercury is the smallest planet. Mars is the second smallest planet. As we've talked about the distance from the sun, we've talked about its diameter. Let's talk about its year length. So how long does it take for it to make one revolution all the way around the sun? It takes, listen to this, almost double what Earth is, 687 days. And that's Earth days, I believe. How many days does it take for Earth to go all the way around the sun one time, making our seasons? 365 and a fourth days. But it takes Mars 687 days to make one trip all the way around the sun. Wow, that's a long time. But in that time, it has seasons. It has what is similar to our season, summer, winter, spring, and fall. But does anything look like it's living on Mars? No, and we know nothing is living because we actually have space rovers that are roving around Mars and have been for many, many years. Let's talk about that. But first, we've talked about its day and night, or it takes 24 hours for it to go around, for it to rotate on its axis. And I told you it has moons. It has 2 moons, Deimos and Phobos. Deimos and Phobos are its 2 moons. They're much smaller than our moon, so it's not in our little solar system set here, but it does have 2 moons. Mars was named after the Roman god of war. It is nicknamed the red planet due to its red soil. And there is evidence of an atmosphere, and liquid water on Mars because of the polar ice caps. Now, this picture doesn't show it very well, but it may show a little bit. Looks like there's a little bit, in the rovers and our telescopes in outer space, let us know that there's a form of ice on Mars at its North Pole and its South Pole. The atmosphere, the slight atmosphere, and the ice caps have led scientists to believe that there's a possibility of life or of a past life on Mars. And our missions to Mars started in 2003. The Mars rovers use robotic technology and solar power to study the planet. And I challenge you to go on the internet, go online, have your moms and dads look up for you so that you can watch those Mars rovers roll all over the planet and see what it's like from like a perspective on the ground. Not a bird's eye view, but a ground perspective. Okay, let's get our paper here. Let's see what it says, what you're going to trace today. Our missions to Mars started in 2003. The Mars rovers use robotic technology to study the planet. You can trace that. If you'd like, once you've traced it, you can recopy it down here, or could you add a fact about Mars, something that we've talked about today, or something that you may read on the internet. I might add there are 4 seasons on Mars. Or there are polar ice caps, volcanoes, canyons, and 4 seasons on Mars. Or I might even add Mars' largest volcano, Mount Olympus, is 3 times taller than Mount Everest. I don't know. I might have to decide what I'm going to add. But you trace that. It should be in your yellow folder after the Earth and the Moon pages. Okay. Pretty soon, we're going to run out of space on our mat. We're going to have to start angling our sun from the corner and do our solar system to the other corner. But that's all on Mars for today. And I'll get back to you. Okay. Bye.